Okay, let's talk about a place most people think of as, fun. Lights, games, summer nights. The American Boardwalk. But picture this. It's empty. Completely deserted. The crowds are gone. Everything's shut down. Just the sound of the wind and the waves, maybe. That kind of desolate. We've gathered some really unsettling true stories tonight. They all happen right there on those boardwalks, but during the off-season, when things get quiet and, frankly, dangerous. Our focus really is digging into what makes these places so terrifying when they're empty. We're looking at 4 accounts, real experiences people had. Fear being followed, just pure horror.
And it makes sense, doesn't it? That shift is dramatic. You go from a place packed with people, witnesses everywhere, to essentially a ghost town. That isolation, that sudden emptiness, well, it creates opportunities. Opportunities for things people hope never happen. It's a perfect stage for crime, for the unexpected.
Exactly. It's not ghosts we're talking about. It's the real-world threat that thrives in that kind of setting. The isolation itself becomes the weapon. Let's start with this story. We're calling it The Keys, the Shoelace, and the Visitor. This happened to a kid, just 15, a cross-country runner, so he kept training even in the off-season. Late-night run on the boardwalk, empty. Now, his family had this really strict rule, always carry your house keys.
Yeah.
And here's the chilling part. The keys actually had their home address etched onto them. Wow, okay. That's a huge security risk right there, an engraved address.
Huge. So he's running, and he hears this tiny clink, looks down, the keys are gone. Slip right through a gap between the wooden planks of the boardwalk.
Oh, no. So not just lost keys, but lost keys that basically have a map to his house. That elevates things immediately, right? Instant panic. So he climbs down off the boardwalk onto the sand underneath. It's pitch black, disgusting down there. He said it smelled awful, like rotten seaweed, old beer, just damp and gross. He's using the little light from his watch, crawling around on the sand and trash, trying to find them. Nothing. The keys are just gone. So he climbs back up, totally frustrated, and then he gets what he thinks is this brilliant idea, a marker. He kneels down, unties his sneaker, takes out the white shoelace, slips it through the exact crack where he thinks the keys fell, lets it dangle down so he can spot it from below.
Okay, makes sense. A visual marker in the dark.
Yeah, seems smart, but before he could even move to climb back down, the shoelace gets yanked, hard, pulled straight down and disappears instantly.
Oh. Okay, wait, so someone else was under there?
Someone was under there. And they didn't just find the keys. They saw him drop them, watched him try to find them, watched him put the marker down, and then took the marker.
That's not random. That's targeted. That's a message. I saw you. I know what you lost, and now I have this too.
The intent there is chilling. He completely freaked out, obviously, but also angry, terrified about the address. So he jumps back down onto the boardwalk again. But this time, he hears shuffling, not from one spot, from like multiple directions around him in the dark.
No, that's awful. Surrounded.
Surrounded. He tries to scramble out back towards the beach, and suddenly this cold hand just clamps onto his ankle. He said he could feel fingernails digging into his skin. He screamed, kicked back as hard as he could, felt his foot hit something solid, and the grip just let go. He bolted, ran home, absolutely terrified.
I can only imagine. So police called, locks changed immediately, I assume?
Yep, did all that, changed the locks the very next day, but that's not even the end of it. This is the part that gets me. A few mornings later, he opens his front door, and there, placed right on the doormat, is his white shoelace.
Oh my God.
The exact one from the boardwalk.
That is pure psychological terror. It completely nullifies changing the locks. It's a direct statement. We know exactly where you live. We followed you home. We can get to you. The home, the place you're supposed to feel safe, is now compromised. It's part of the threat now. Unbelievable.
Horrifying. Okay, so that story really shows the danger lurking under things, right?
Right.
Vertical concealment. This next one it uses a different kind of space, an enclosed public building on the boardwalk. This involves a 22-year-old, end of a trip with friends. It's late. She needs to use the bathroom, finds one of those old, kind of beaten-up public ones, barely lit, isolated. She goes into the farthest stall. Then she hears it. Footsteps. Someone walking slowly around the main bathroom area, circling the stalls. Then silence, like they stopped right near the sinks.
Already unsettling. The acoustics in those places, every little sound echoes.
Totally. So she finishes up, goes to push the stall door open, and it won't budge.
Yeah.
Someone is physically holding it shut from the other side.
Okay, that's immediate entrapment, using the architecture itself. The stall becomes a cage. Classic predator tactic in a vulnerable space like that.
She panics, pushes with all her might, and finally shoves the door open, stumbles out, relieved for a second, runs to the main exit door to get out of there. And the handle won't turn. It's locked. But like from the outside, she's trapped in the bathroom.
Locked from the outside, so definitely not an accident.
Definitely not. But then the absolute worst part, as she's rattling the main door handle, desperate, she hears movement behind her from one of the other stalls.
No. So there were two of them.
There were two people in that tiny bathroom the whole time. One holding the stall, one waiting. Maybe by the door, or maybe also in a stall.
The coordination is terrifying.
She completely loses it, scrambles onto the shaky, grimy sink counter. There's this tiny, filthy window near the ceiling. She manages to push it open. As she's pulling herself up and out, halfway through the window, the stall door behind her bursts open. She said she locked eyes for just a second with this man. Described him as hairy, pale skin, maybe 50s, but dressed weirdly like a teenager. Then she was out, dropped to the boardwalk, ran, and called the police immediately.
And the police, what did they find?
They confirmed it. The main door handle had been tampered with, messed with so it could be locked from the outside. Their conclusion was blunt.
Let me guess. Whoever was in there didn't want her getting out.
Exactly. They told her straight up, they did not want you leaving.
Chilling. Okay, so we've seen dangers below, dangers inside structures. What about manipulating the environment itself?
Right. Let's shift to that. This next account is from someone looking back at their childhood. They were about 8 or 9, summer vacation at the coast. That particular year, the town had built these enormous sand dunes along the beach, like huge walls of sand meant as hurricane barriers.
Ah, so they'd block the view.
Completely blocked the view of the ocean from the boardwalk, created this like massive blind spot, an environmental screen basically. So this kid sneaks out one evening, wants some alone time on the beach, notices how weirdly empty it is, and then sees smoke. A thin, sort of suspicious trail of smoke rising up from behind one of those giant dunes, like a tiny volcano. Curiosity takes over, naturally.
Uh-oh. Curiosity and deserted beaches. Rarely a good mix in these stories.
Tell me about it. The kid climbs the dune, peeks over the top, and sees this bonfire down below. All alone, abandoned-looking fire pit on the sand.
Okay, an unattended fire is weird, but maybe just careless campers.
That's maybe what you'd hope. But then the kid gets closer, maybe kicks some sand onto it, and sees what's actually burning. It wasn't wood, it was mostly clothes. Little kids' clothes.
Yeah.
Tiny shoes, socks, just piles of them smoldering.
No, that's horrifying.
It gets worse. Partially buried in the ashes, somehow not totally burned, was a photograph. A picture of a little boy. And the kid looking at it realized the boy in the photo looked disturbingly similar to him, like eerily similar.
Wow. Okay, that is deeply disturbing. The implication.
Right. The kid freezes, drops the stick they were poking the fire with, realizes this is something really, really bad, criminal. And then hears a voice, rough. Hey, kid, don't you go anywhere. Looks up, sees this bald man kind of staggering towards him from further down the beach. Pure terror. The kid just scrambles back up the steep side of the sand dune, feels something grab at his ankle, fingernails scratching, but pulls free, vaults over the top, and just sprints home, never looking back.
And the worst part, perhaps, is the aftermath you mentioned.
Yeah. He was terrified of getting in trouble for sneaking out, so he never told anyone. Not his parents, not the police, nothing.
So that entire horrific discovery, the clothes, the photo, the man, it just stayed with him. A secret. The weight of that, knowing you stumbled onto potentially a crime scene involving a child who looked like you and couldn't report it, that's a heavy psychological burden. And the dune, that environmental screen, it didn't just hide the crime, it enabled it, provided the cover.
Such a heavy thing for a child to carry.
Yeah.
Okay, final story. This one is less about physical traps and more about, well, psychological manipulation. Exploiting perception, another runner. Off-season boardwalk, late at night. They liked the piece, called it their detox from life. Just them and the sound of the waves. About a mile into the run, they get that feeling. You know the one, like you're being watched.
Yeah.
Quickly on the back of your neck.
Yeah, that primal instinct.
Just a quick gut check, glance over their shoulder. Way, way back in the distance, there's a figure. A man, just standing there, perfectly still, facing them.
Okay, creepy, but maybe just another person out late.
Maybe. But the runner picks up the pace anyway. Just feels wrong. Runs a bit further, that feeling doesn't go away, it gets stronger. Checks again. The man is closer now, noticeably closer, but still completely motionless, just standing there, frozen.
Wait, closer but still not moving? How does that work?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the terrifying part. It doesn't make sense. To cover that ground, he must have been moving, probably running, when the runner wasn't looking. But every single time they looked back, frozen, still.
That's deeply unnerving. It breaks the rules of normal movement. It feels unnatural.
Yeah.
Predatory, like he's playing a game.
It turned the run into a flat-out sprint. Pure panic. Every quick glance back. Closer. Still frozen. Closer. Still frozen. It defied logic. Finally, they see their car. Fumbles with the keys, throws himself inside, locks the doors, jams the key in the ignition, starts the engine. As they pull out of the parking spot, headlights sweep across the area, and the man is standing right there, directly in front of where the car was parked just seconds before.
Right in front, after being impossibly far behind moments earlier.
Right there. Hood pulled up, so no features visible. Just standing like a sentinel, the runner floors it, gets out of there, drives home shaking.
The lack of visible features, the impossible movement, the mind just fills those blanks with terror, doesn't it? It's pure psychological warfare. Was he actually moving impossibly fast and freezing instantly? Or just incredibly skilled at timing his sprints for when the runner looked away? The effect is the same. It creates this feeling of omnipresence, of something inescapable. No wonder they had nightmares. The threat isn't just physical, it's formless, illogical, hard to process.
Absolutely. So looking across all four of these accounts, what's the common thread? What connects the keys under the planks, the bonfire behind the dune, the stalker on the run, the trap in the bathroom?
It really comes down to vulnerability amplified by isolation, I think. We see predators exploiting the architecture itself, the hidden spaces underneath, the enclosed, neglected public buildings. That's architectural concealment. Then there's the use of temporary environmental features, like those massive sand dunes creating blind spots, environmental screens. And finally, the purely psychological manipulation, using the emptiness, the quiet, the lack of witnesses to mess with perception, like the silent follower. It exploits the isolation itself.
In every single case, the danger was already there, maybe latent, but it was the emptiness, the off-season quiet that allowed it to surface and become active.
Precisely. The malice was just waiting for the crowds to leave. For you listening, the takeaway really is about situational awareness, isn't it? Recognizing how the function of a space changes with context. Those boardwalk structures, the little buildings, the dunes in summer, they're part of the fun, part of the scenery. In the off-season, they become potential assets for someone with bad intentions. You have to look at familiar places differently when they're deserted. Think about sightlines, concealment spots, potential dead zones.
It's a chilling reminder, isn't it? That darkness can hide just beneath the surface of places we associate with light and fun. That even in charming coastal towns, when the lights go out and the people leave, vulnerability sets in. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into these unsettling coastal encounters. If these true stories have sent a chill down your spine, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Horror Docs.